So basically, a super rich heiress calls our boy by mistake to confess her love. He's totally losing it and tells her she's got the wrong number, but she literally doesn't care who he is. She offers to send 100,000 yuan just to make him listen, and boom, Alipay notification drops with the cash. Our guy instantly folds and says, yep, he is totally Xiao Hu, keep talking. Even at 3 a.m., she is still rambling about meeting Xiao Hu. She's talking about romantic swings under snowy mountains while our guy is literally holding his eyes open by staring at his new bank balance. Honestly, it gets low-key heartbreaking here. She explains how lonely her life is because her wealthy dad never cared about her, not even knowing her school grade while juggling 3 or 4 mistresses. He had a whole bunch of other kids, too. To make up for his guilt, he just threw endless money at her, leaving her with absolutely nothing but cold cash. She envies poor kids because of real love? Insane! Our boy is struggling to stay awake. Suddenly, she goes quiet. And then boom, another 100,000 drops, completely waking him up. He instantly agrees with whatever she said, which makes her ask if he also thinks she's a lesbian. That silence is pure comedy. Wait, wasn't she just talking about Xiao Hu? The rich sister sighs, saying her family chased her best friend away, leaving her completely isolated. She says she became a total loner, losing her mind to the point where she would literally stand around and argue with stray cats for 2 hours. She felt completely broken until destiny finally brought her savior Xiao Hu into her lonely life. The rich girl's voice gets incredibly soft as she describes him as the most gentle guy ever.
He didn't think she was a freak at all, sitting with her and staying by her side in the cold wind all night whenever she cried.
Whenever her dad brought other women home, Xiao Hu would throw small pebbles at her window to make her laugh. But he was like the wind, impossible to hold on to. At times, she felt they were incredibly close. Other times, she realized she knew absolutely nothing about him, not even if he liked her back. It's clear she's deeply in love with this guy. Our boy wants to comfort her, but he's just too exhausted to keep his eyes open. His eyelids weld shut. He passes out. In the morning, he wakes up brushing his teeth, thinking it's all a dream. But then he checks his phone. 300 grand is sitting there. No shot. She sent another transfer just to wake him up. It's actually crazy. It's completely real, but our boy panics because she didn't add the voluntary gift note, making him worry she might sue to get all her cash back. Our boy sneaks into his 8 a.m. class like a total ninja, sliding into the very back row right next to his college classmates. They tease him about his massive dark circles and ask if he wants to split some cheap online shopping deals. He immediately says yes. Even with 300 grand in the bank, our boy still can't resist saving $3 on cheap online shopping deals, but his mind is completely somewhere else. He's stressing over how to ask the rich girl for that voluntary gift note. Will she even call him again? Suddenly, the back door slams open. Everyone in class gasps because a jaw-dropping beauty just walked in. Our guy turns around and locks eyes with an absolutely stunning girl who is totally out of his league. It's Liu Ruyan, a legendary rich heiress on campus who's known for being incredibly cold, quiet, and absolutely lethal with her words. Our boy actually debated her last year and got so utterly destroyed he's still traumatized. He can't believe she's taking this Russian elective too. This girl has been famous since freshman year for her absolute goddess-level looks. Everyone knows her. Our guy awkwardly looks away as she walks past, looking effortlessly stylish in simple clothes. She is so dripped out, it's insane. He pretends to look at his phone, but the goddess stops right next to his seat. Then she coldly asks him to let her through. For a split second, he thinks she sounds exactly like the rich girl from the phone call, but he quickly brushes it off. He lets her pass. She sits at the very end, leaving a massive empty radius around her like an absolute protective force field. In the class group chat, students who skip the elective are asking if Russian is actually easy. Our boy looks at the insanely complex slides and decides to troll them, texting back that Russian is super easy and feels just like a native language. Night falls, and before her call even comes through, another massive money transfer drops. Our guy immediately calls her back, and she is totally stunned. She goes silent before asking why he saved her name like that. Honestly, she never even told him her real name. She laughs it off and asks how his day went. Our guy is ecstatic, saying everything was perfect while planning his next move. But then she sighs and drops a massive bomb. Her dad got into a car accident, but she doesn't feel sad at all. She asks if she's a horrible daughter. Our guy quickly reassures her that it's totally fine. He says the dad has plenty of other mistresses and kids to cry for him anyway. Surprisingly, this actually comforts her a lot. She sounds a bit tipsy, and he can hear a can rolling on her floor. She suddenly shifts the topic to her mother. She says her mom was an absolute stunner who could have been a superstar. Our guy realizes she must be incredibly gorgeous too. Sister Fu kept rambling about how her mom's great genes made her gorgeous. Our boy Bai just listened quietly, occasionally chiming in. Honestly, there were moments where they actually felt like real friends. She even thanked him, saying nobody else ever listened to her. Well, making her happy made him happy too. Sister Fu laughed, then asked him to tell her his own story. But if he shared his story, wouldn't he lose his mystery? She just scoffed, reminding him that he was never the real Xiao Hu anyway. It was honestly so weird. She kept calling him Xiao Hu, yet openly admitted she knew he wasn't actually that guy. Still, he thought about it and decided to pull the absolute best highlight from his otherwise totally broke and boring life. A story about how he went from a failing student to ranking #1 in high school. It was his proudest achievement, and just narrating it got his blood pumping. He was practically in tears sharing how he finally got into his dream college. He asked about her exams, only to get dead silence. Yep, she fell asleep. The next day, Bai dragged himself to class with massive dark circles. His buddy Liu Guo was highly suspicious, asking if he was secretly studying all night. He secretly checked his phone. He had made 500,000, but he definitely couldn't say that out loud. He lied and said he was just gaming. Liu Guo warned him to stop gaming because the annual debate competition was starting soon and he needed to be in top shape. That instantly ruined his mood. Just thinking about the debate gave him massive anxiety. Last year they made the finals but faced the legendary finance college. They were already insanely hard to beat, but then they recruited a star rookie named Liu Ruyan. Now he was praying they wouldn't draw them in qualifiers. Liu Guo literally put his hands together, begging the universe to not let them run into Liu Ruyan again. Our boy sighed. The pressure was real, but checking his bank account helped him calm down. After class, he and Liu Guo rushed to the cafeteria. They sprinted to beat the military training crowd, but as he turned a corner, he crashed head-on into someone carrying a food tray, spilling everything. He quickly apologized, but when he looked up, his heart stopped. It was Liu Ruyan, looking completely miserable. Talk about a worst-case scenario. He grabbed some tissues and realized the mess only got on himself. Liu Ruyan was completely clean, which was a massive relief. He offered to buy her a replacement, but Liu Ruyan just glanced at the floor with cold eyes, turned around, and walked back to queue up. Our boy was left cleaning up the mess. When Liu Ruyan finally reached the front of the line, he ran over to swipe his card. He apologized again with a nervous smile. Liu Ruyan just stared at him silently and walked away. Meanwhile, Liu Guo had secured their food. After cleaning the floor, he sat down. Liu Guo pointed out his dirty shirt, but he shrugged it off. He glanced over and saw Liu Ruyan sitting nearby. She was sitting completely alone, like a walking black hole. Even so, Liu Guo couldn't help but comment on how beautiful she was. But to our boy, seeing her was like seeing the Grim Reaper. Honestly, after last year's absolute destruction, I would be traumatized too. Suddenly, two guys approached Liu Ruyan, blushing as they spoke, but she just gave them a cold look and went right back to her food. The two guys stood there awkwardly before running off. Talk about ice cold. Later that night, his phone buzzed with another big deposit. Another 100,000. At 1 a.m., Sister Fu called again. Getting up at this hour to talk? He was definitely working for this money. He picked up immediately. Sister Fu paused for a second and asked if he was still awake, so she actually realized how late it was. No way, he lied, saying he was waiting for her call. She laughed, admitting she hadn't actually planned on calling. She was just restless. He asked if something was bothering her, and it turned out Sister Fu had been drinking again. She sighed, sounding genuinely sad. Her dad had called to say he missed her. How ironic that he only cared now that he was bedridden. He pointed out her dad probably just wanted her to take care of him. She agreed, adding his other mistresses were just waiting for him to die. All they wanted was the inheritance. In fact, she admitted she was also wishing for his death, wishing death on her own father. She asked if that made her a terrible person. He froze, feeling her heavy grief through the phone. "No," he told her, "you aren't." Her father hurt her mother, so he deserved this. Besides, if she truly didn't care, she wouldn't be losing sleep. Sister Fu laughed, but he heard noise in the background. It sounded like people arguing. Realizing she was drunk, he asked where she was and offered to pick her up. She refused, claiming she was afraid he was ugly. Well, that hurt. He hung up in a huff and buried his face in his blanket. That was the first time he actually tried to care. And he got insulted for it. Soon, Sister Fu called right back, asking if he was mad. He denied it, so she apologized for her big mouth, telling him not to take it to heart. He stayed silent, and boom, another 100,000 arrived. This was the first time receiving money didn't make him happy. He asked what she was doing, saying he wasn't begging. She mumbled that she knew. She just didn't know how to apologize. She explained she grew up without a mother, friends, or a caring father, so nobody ever taught her. He sighed and told her he wasn't mad. Sister Fu smiled, adding that his looks really didn't matter. Even if he looked like a meme, it was fine. She lectured herself about how judging people by their looks is rude, acting like she just learned a valuable lesson. Seeing how serious she was, he actually found her kind of cute. Soon, she switched to a much lighter tone. She asked him how his day went. He thought about it and realized nothing special had happened, so he told her it was just average. Our boy is having a seriously rough day. First oversleeping for morning class, then bumping into someone at lunch and paying for their meal. When Sister Fu asks if the other guy got mad, our boy admits he didn't, but there's a huge catch. He explains that this opponent is terrifying. He lost to them once, and now just seeing them feels like facing the Grim Reaper. He's literally sweating. Hearing this, Sister Fu goes quiet before asking if he still does competitive debate. He tells her it's his second year. They almost won last time until that absolute final boss cleared them out. When asked for the name, our boy drops it, Liu Ruyan. Instantly, the line goes completely dead silent. He asks if she knows her, but she quickly laughs it off, claiming she got distracted by a random cat. He brushes it off, but Sister Fu points out that if this opponent has him this stressed, they must be insanely powerful. He agrees, she's terrifying. Sister Fu quietly wishes him luck in tomorrow's draft, before taking a deep breath to wrap up. She tells him to rest and gets ready to hang up, which is weirdly early, but our boy stops her. He hesitates, but she tells him to speak his mind, so he nervously brings up the transfer notes. He asks if she can add a voluntary gift note, which gets silence before she literally chuckles in disbelief. She asks if he thinks she's so broke she'd sue to get it back, and while he denies it, he's totally sweating. Then, boom, a notification rings out, 500,000 yuan transferred with the voluntary gift note. His brain completely short-circuits. He's stuttering in shock while she quickly says she's tired and hangs up, oblivious to how weird her mood is. His head spins. He screams that Sister Fu is his savior, jumping around like a maniac. He opens his shopping app and goes on a massive spending spree, buying a Nintendo Switch, a gaming graphics card, and a pro monitor. Suddenly, he has over 20 packages waiting to ship, having spent less than 1%. Talk about living the dream. He literally sheds manly tears of joy. The next day is Friday, and during lunch break, the debate team gathers. Luckily, they dodge the Powerhouse Finance Academy, matching up with the Science Academy instead. Still tough, but they'll take it. Avoiding the final boss is a massive win. Once morning classes wrap, the squad heads out. They hit up an off-campus spot to party, and he wakes up at 3 in the morning. He panics and checks his phone, terrified he missed a call, but there's nothing. Sister Fu didn't ring him once tonight. Feeling surprisingly empty, he reminds himself she probably just has her own life. The weekend flies by quietly, but the silence from her end is starting to get loud. 2 days pass, no calls. He sits completely spaced out in class until his friend pinches him back to reality. He just sighs and checks his phone out of habit, wondering if she's done calling him for good. Maybe she's happy with the real Xiao Hu now. Even though he feels hollow, he hopes she got her happy ending. But there's no time to dwell on it because the tournament starts at 2 p.m. Their club leader drags everyone along to watch the match, but at the door, they run directly into Liu Ruyan. She freezes, and our boy's heart skips a beat. Their captain immediately gives her a warm, smiling greeting. He points out Zhang Yuebai, reminding her that he was her opponent last year. She glances at him for a split second, then quickly averts her gaze. She has zero memory of him. Brutal. Apology or not, that is just pure disrespect.
Their captain quickly ushers him inside to grab some seats in the middle rows.
He whispers that her attitude is why she's got no friends, but our boy just shrugs it off. The match kicks off and the room turns into an absolute pressure cooker. On stage, she is a straight-up assassin. Her logic is so airtight and sharp that opponents can't even find a gap to counter. The heavy atmosphere suffocates the audience, and our boy is sitting in the back, barely daring to breathe.
I mean, how do you even counter someone who's built this different? The pressure is insane.
90 minutes later, the match wraps up with an absolute landslide victory for the Finance Academy. Sitting on pins and needles, our boy bolts the second it's over, heading straight back to his apartment. He spends his free evening studying World Championship debate tapes, still having eaten nothing by 10 p.m. Putting his pen down, he listens to the chatter outside, feeling a wave of deep loneliness. He originally moved out to escape a nightmare roommate, but that meant he missed out on joining any close friend groups. Honestly, having no close friends to vent to is the worst. When the stress hits, you just have to bottle it all up. Our boy sighs, shuts down his PC, and flops onto his bed like a dead dog. Suddenly, boom, his phone buzzes with a notification. A cool 100,000 yuan just hit his account. No shot this is real, right? He scrambles up, staring at the screen in pure disbelief, until a very familiar number starts calling.
Sister Fu, he answers instantly. Honestly, it has been forever since he felt this happy. But Sister Fu's voice sounds a bit heavy, totally unlike her usual playful self.
She asks how his day was. He tells her it was great, but his chest suddenly tightens. It is pretty wild that she is the only person who actually cares to ask him that. After a quiet pause, she asks if he is crying. He was holding it in, but her question breaks him, and the tears start falling. She tells him to open his window. He slides out of bed and opens it. She points out how hard it is raining, joking that it is crazier than a dramatic drama scene. He chuckles. She is goofy, but it actually works to cheer him up. She asks why he's so sad. He sighs, explaining it is not sadness, just insane pressure. She immediately asks where all this pressure is coming from. Is it because of that person? He admits it is half because of her and half because of himself. He still blames himself for losing last year's big debate. Even though his teammates never blamed him, he just cannot let it go. But Sister Fu reminds him that losing a debate is never on just one person. He knows that, but he still cannot forgive himself. During the cross-examination, his mind went completely blank under her pressure. Sister Fu pauses. She asks if he is afraid of her. He confesses she is an absolute beast at debating, but Sister Fu points out there are plenty of smart debaters he does not freeze up against. Really? Yes, meaning he is terrified of her specifically. He hates to admit it, but she is right. Even outside of debates, he actively avoids her. Whenever he sees Liu Ruyan, he instinctively ducks away. Just a second of eye contact makes his heart beat out of his chest. Talk about severe pretty girl phobia. She asks what makes her so scary. He says she is super arrogant and impossible to approach. Sister Fu seems to hold her breath for a second before softening her tone. Why do you think that? She asks. He explains that she never looks anyone in the eye, always giving off this untouchable, looking down on everyone vibe. Sister Fu takes a slow breath. Little Hu, sometimes fear just comes from distance. You do not actually know her, right? So your assumptions might be totally off. He asks what she means, and she suggests he try interacting with her. She might not be that scary after all. He says he is too scared, but if he cannot beat this mental block, he will never win a debate. Hearing that, he sits up. Sister Fu is right. Honestly, maybe his fear of Liu Ruyan is just a wild projection. What if she is actually a decent person underneath that cold exterior? Maybe she is secretly a total goofball like Sister Fu. He promises to try, which pleases her. Suddenly, his stomach lets out a loud growl. She asks if he still has not eaten. Feeling a bit embarrassed, he admits he has insomnia. She immediately tells him to go grab some food. He says he will just order takeout and call it a diet. Suddenly,
Boom! Another 100,000 yuan hits his account. He is stunned. A meal does not cost that much. Sister Fu just laughs.
She says she knows, but that is to prepay for his future meals, so he never has to go hungry again. Talk about a major flex. The next day in class,
Liu Guo is shocked, asking if Bai is finally in a relationship because he looks so refreshed. Holding his phone, Bai just chuckles. Liu Guo finds it wild since Bai looked like a walking corpse days ago. Bai brushes it off, resting on his desk. He keeps thinking about how amazing Sister Fu is. But as he smiles, a sudden wave of awkwardness hits him. Here is the catch. She is nice to little Hugh, his online persona, not the real him. He stares blankly, feeling a bit guilty, before telling himself to snap out of it. Why overthink it? He checks his account balance to soothe his soul. 1 million yuan. Yep, that does the trick. Later that afternoon, it is time for Russian class, with 3 minutes left on the clock. That is when the Ice Queen, Liu Ruyan, walks in through the back door. Remembering Sister Fu's advice, he wonders if he should actually try saying hello to her. He takes a deep breath and looks her way. She is absolutely gorgeous, but his severe beauty phobia kicks in instantly. Okay, scratch that. Abort mission! He quickly turns back and starts spinning his pen, trying to look casual. But out of nowhere, she actually walks right up to his desk and says hello. She asks if he can let her squeeze through. Her tone is incredibly polite, almost gentle. He is completely stunned. Is this really the arrogant girl everyone is terrified of? Shaking off his shock, he quickly scoots back to give her space. He mutters a quiet, sure, not daring to make eye contact. She softly says thank you. With a subtle smile, she squeezes past and sits right next to him. Instantly, her fresh pine scent fills the air, and our boy's brain completely short-circuits. Why on earth did she sit next to him? He freezes, completely paralyzed, listening to her unzip her bag, pull out her laptop, and quietly start typing. A minute later, Liu Guo finally rushes into class, heading straight for Bai. But the second he spots Liu Ruyan sitting there, he freezes in his tracks. He asks where his saved seat is. Bai stiffly looks over at Liu Ruyan. There were literally 2 empty seats, yet she chose the one right next to him. Noticing their stares, she turns to Liu Guo and softly asks if he needs to get through. She stands up to let him pass, completely ignoring the other empty seat. Liu Guo awkwardly thanks her and squeezes past. The moment he sits down, he immediately looks at Bai with absolute confusion written all over his face. He mouths back that he has absolutely no idea. Turning back, he sits there quiet as a mouse, low-key hating himself for being such a coward. He sneaks another glance. She is hyper-focused on her screen, totally unaware of his gaze. Her side profile is flawless, except for a tiny pink acne scar on her chin. Wait, she gets pimples too? Staring at that tiny mark, it suddenly hits him that she is just a regular human being who eats, sleeps, and breaks out. She is not this untouchable, perfect goddess after all. Suddenly, she senses his eyes on her, turns, and asks what is wrong. He snaps out of his daze, awkwardly scratching his head before panicking and asking what she is working on. She pauses for a second, then calmly turns her laptop screen toward him. It is just some Russian learning materials. Our main character, Zhang Yuebai, immediately shakes his head no when Liu Ruyan offers to let him look. But then she turns around and asks if his name is Zhang Yuebai, mentioning she actually remembers playing against him last year. She tells him he was really good. Our boy Yue is completely shocked she actually remembers him, and honestly even more stunned that this cold girl is actually making small talk. This is a total shift from the cold, arrogant girl he remembered. It looks like Fujie was right all along. He barely knew the real Liu Ruyan and had totally misjudged her. He awkwardly replies that she is really amazing too. Later that night, he is lying in bed drafting reports, constantly checking his phone. Our boy keeps staring at the screen until that familiar Alipay payment notification chimes, and Fujie's number finally flashes on the display. She asks how Xiao Hu is doing today. Yubai says everything is great, sounding so genuinely happy that she asks if something amazing just happened. He tells her no, but he finally took her advice and actually initiated a conversation with Liu Ruyan. Fujie pauses for a second and asks how it went. He admits he is not really that scared of her anymore. Since they were so distant before, he had built her up as this flawless, perfect goddess. But after talking today, that illusion completely shattered.
He realized she is actually just a normal person. Fujie chuckles and agrees that beneath the hype, everyone is just human.
She asks if he's confident about the upcoming debate now. Hyped up, he says yes and genuinely thanks her for the advice. Her voice softens as she tells him no thanks are needed, because as long as Xiao Hu is happy, she is happy too, which totally warms his heart.
Honestly, Fujie is such a sweetheart. But his smile quickly fades when he realizes she is only happy because of Xiao Hu. The painful truth is, he is not Xiao Hu. When she asks why he suddenly went quiet, he quickly shakes his head to brush the thought away.
He makes up a quick excuse, saying he just saw a cat. She asks what it looks like, and he says it is a black one.
Yuebai points out that she paid him to listen to her, but she says she actually prefers his voice. Suddenly, boom, another cash drop of 100,000. Talk about an absolute cheat code. He immediately jokes that he loves to chat. Honestly, he is starting to catch real feelings for her, though he is not sure if it is love or just the power of money.
It is probably just the cash, right? There is no way he actually likes her when he has never even seen her face. Fuji keeps calling every single night, and their conversations start getting way deeper, moving past the usual talk about Xiao Hu and her family. She tells him about skiing in the Alps, backpacking through Europe, and shares her favorite songs and movies until he basically knows her whole life story.
Yet he still has no clue what her real name is. One night, she mentions a swing under a snowy mountain, which instantly triggers a memory of their very first call.
Intrigued, he asks if that was the exact same swing she used to ride on with Xiao Hu. She freezes, her excited tone instantly dropping as she quietly confirms it. Yuebai just rests his chin in his hand, feeling a bit complicated.
He cannot even explain his own mood when he suddenly asks her if Xiao Hu is handsome. She seems totally caught off guard by the question.
She asks why he is wondering about that, and he just says he is curious. She admits Xiao Hu is incredibly handsome, beyond words.
He figures a guy who can make a wealthy heiress this obsessed has to be on another level. Looking in the bathroom mirror, he suddenly feels pretty average.
It is time for the semifinals against the medical school. Everyone gathers to watch because their opponents are built different, making this debate absolutely brutal. After an intense back and forth, Yuebai's team manages to pull off a clutch win by a narrow margin, sending the crowd into absolute wild cheers.
As the noise settles, he spots Liu Ruyan standing quietly in the very back, softly clapping for them.
She always stands out, but he was so locked into the debate that he did not even notice when she arrived. He really does see her as just a regular person now.
When they head down, his teammate Liu Guo spots her too, completely shocked that the famous cold beauty actually showed up to watch them. He just laughs it off, saying she is human too, so why not? Luo Gong nods, then immediately pivots to drop some major tea.
Apparently, the opposing team's handsome speaker, On Ran, used to pursue Liu Ruyan. This immediately sparks Yuebai's interest, and he asks if the guy succeeded.
Liu Guo whispers, asking if he knows why it failed. When Yuebai asks why, Liu Guo claims she likes girls, making Yuebai roll his eyes at the nonsense.
She rolls her eyes and spills the real rumor. Liu Ruyan supposedly has a deceased ex-boyfriend who is her ultimate, unforgettable white moonlight.
The Ice Queen apparently warned Anran about this, but the guy bragged to everyone that he did not care and would easily win her heart anyway.
But when he finally tried to grab her hand, she completely threw him off and unleashed a savage verbal beatdown on him.
Knowing how savage her roasts can get, Anran's ego was totally crushed, and he immediately backed off. Yuebai is amazed by the drama. Who would have guessed that the cold, intimidating Liu Ruyan was actually such a loyal romantic deep down?
Seriously, talk about an unexpected twist. He steals a quick glance at her, feeling a sudden wave of sympathy for the heartbreak she went through.
It's pretty sad that even a rich, perfect girl like her has such a painful past. Suddenly, as if sensing his gaze, she turns and looks right at him. He just gives her a warm, friendly smile before walking away with Liu Guo. Since they won, their counselor treats the whole team to a massive barbecue feast. They feast and drink until 11 p.m. Yuebai is so genuinely hyped about the win that he ends up drinking way too much.
Walking back completely dizzy, his phone rings with a call from Fuji. He happily tells her that they just made it to the finals.
She claps over the phone, praising him as the absolute best. Right on cue, another cash notification chimed. He was just too happy to care how much it was this time. Maybe it was the alcohol or something else, but his sudden happiness instantly vanished.
Because he is not Xiao Hu, Sister Fu praised her lost love, not Yuebai. The cold wind slowly cleared his head.
That is when he realized he was actually jealous of Xiao Hu. Like, he is literally just a paid actor here. What right does he even have to be jealous? It is honestly ridiculous, yet it low-key hurts. Meanwhile, Sister Fu kept talking. But his mind was too spaced out to hear. Sensing his silence, she asked if Xiao Hu was sleepy. For once, he just wanted to hang up.
Yeah, he muttered. She sounded so reluctant, saying she would call again tomorrow. This whole dynamic is honestly getting so painful.
The next morning, his head was a complete mess. His teammate Liu Guo noticed, asking if White Bro was gaming all night again.
Your energy is absolutely shot. Yuebai just silently shook his head. But Liu Guo got annoyed, warning him that the finals were next.
How are they supposed to win against Finance University like this?
Yuebai gave a self-deprecating smile, promising to fix his focus.
He really needed to stop overthinking this drama. That night, Sister Fu called him unusually early. He wanted to tell her
That they should stop talking so he could focus on his debate, but the moment he answered, her voice sounded
completely raspy and weak. "How was your day, Xiao Hu?" she strained to ask. Yuebai panicked immediately, asking if she was sick. His heart leaped into his throat. "Did you take medicine?" She quietly groaned that she had, but her head and throat still burned.
But hearing your voice makes it all better, she laughed with a congested, stuffy voice. Relief washed over him as he sat
back on his bed, staring at the moon. The rejection died in his throat. He decided to tell her later, telling her to rest up instead.
"Are you in bed right now?" Sister Fu softly confirmed she was.
He asked if she had any friends around, but she said no. He remembered her saying she had nothing but money. "You should make friends, Sister Fu," he said gently.
"I do not know how," she mumbled, her voice sounding so sweet and vulnerable. "Can you teach me?"
He could almost see her clear eyes through the phone. He stayed silent, so she whispered again, "Call me Xiao Hu," sounding like an intimate lover.
He froze instantly. His heart was pounding so violently against his chest, it felt like it would burst. Sensing his silence, she teased him, asking why he was not talking. He lied that his food delivery arrived, his voice trembling as he realized his heart was already lost.
He had officially crossed the line. He was actually falling in love with Sister Fu.
Over the next 3 days, he answered her calls right on time. Even his Alipay notifications kept buzzing with money. The rising balance no longer made for him happy. He could only obsess over one painful reality. He is not Xiao Hu. He is just a cheap substitute carrying her love for someone else. But being a substitute is pure torture. His jealousy of Xiao Hua grew by the day, and he hated who he was becoming. So he decided to end it before he fell any deeper. On the 4th day, her cold was gone. He patiently chatted with her until 1 a.m. Right before hanging up, he finally spoke. "Sister Fu, let us not call each other anymore." She went completely silent, asking what he meant. His throat tightened, but he forced a casual tone, lying that he got a girlfriend and could not talk late at night anymore. He claimed he did not want his girlfriend to get the wrong idea. She sounded utterly shocked, asking if he was joking. He lied that she was a wonderful person, his knuckles turning white. She panicked, yelling that he was lying since they talked every single day. "Who is she? What does she look like?" Her voice trembled with absolute panic. Yuebai sighed, apologizing and thanking her for everything. He reminded her that he was never the real Xiao Hu anyway, suggesting she find a new substitute or let him introduce one. "Stop it," she panted, her breathing frantic as she paced her room. "I do not even mind if you have a girlfriend. It is fine." "But she will mind," he said, knowing he had to hang up now or he would lose his resolve. She kept desperately crying out his name. And then, boom, he hung up, blocked her, and shut off his phone. But as he lay there, he realized he was actually crying. His pillow was soaked.
He tried to tell himself they were never a real couple, so this separation was always bound to happen. He checked his bank balance to numb the pain, but even the money did not help this time. An hour passed.
He finally got up and washed his face. He had to pretend none of this ever happened. No Sister Fu, no money, no late-night calls. Now only the debate tournament mattered. By 9 a.m. the next morning, he had completely forced himself to move on. Wearing his sharp suit, he walked into the venue. His teammate Liu Guo nervously asked if White Bro was anxious, but he just smiled. With only 3 minutes left, their star debater Liu Ruyan was still missing. Everyone usually arrives 10 minutes early, so this was extremely sketchy. Liu Guo asked if she was flaking, but Yuebai stayed silent. You cannot swap in subs during the finals, so they had to wait.
The opposing team was getting anxious, frantically making calls. It was so weird because Liu Ruyan was never the type to miss a match.
With her missing, the organizers were literally debating whether to change the rules for a sub. Just then, the heavy doors slammed open.
Liu Ruyan walked in without a single apology, cold-faced and stating she was here. No glasses today, and her eyes were completely bloodshot.
Yuebai had never seen Liu Ruyan look this utterly exhausted. The other debaters secretly complained about his lateness, but they kept quiet and politely took his bag anyway. As Liu Ruyan walked to his seat, his cold, almost icy gaze swept right over Yuebai.
Yuebai immediately looked away, his heart pounding. Seriously, Liu Ruyan was back to being absolutely terrifying.
Like he was so gentle and polite before, but now, on stage, built totally different. Yuebai kept his head down, nervously fiddling with his papers.
Even the host was annoyed by his lateness, telling the contestants to take their seats since everyone had been waiting forever. But that completely ticked Liu Ruyan off. He checked his watch, pointing out that it was exactly 9 o'clock. He coldly asked if his watch was broken or if the school clock was wrong, leaving the host speechless. Yuebai's teammate whispered in annoyance.
They called him a spoiled prince who could not take criticism.
Liu Ruyan sat down, giving them a hostile, mocking glare.
He snapped at them to speak louder instead of hiding like rats, instantly starting a massive argument at the table. When they called him out for disrespecting everyone, Liu Ruyan just sneered, saying he had zero respect for losers.
The team lost it, but Liu Ruyan just mocked their intelligence. Seriously, this guy was going absolutely wild compared to before.
Even Yuebai could not take it anymore.
He asked if Liu Ruyan could speak nicely, but Liu Ruyan turned him with red, teary eyes, making Yuebai freeze.
Liu Ruyan's voice suddenly softened into a self-mocking laugh as he whispered, "So you are my Xiao Hu?" The entire room froze. Yuebai stared back, his mind completely exploding. No shot! Liu Ruyan was actually Fujie this entire time?
The dots finally connected. His secret online chat buddy was his fierce rival, and Yuebai's fake persona was the one he loved. Specifically, the substitute for his unforgettable dead ex-boyfriend.
Liu Guo snapped Yuebai back to reality, asking if he was okay. Yuebai tried to play it cool, urging everyone to focus on the match while avoiding Liu Ruyan's gaze entirely. He needed time to process this massive twist. Once the match started, Yuebai relied on his heavy preparation to stay afloat. But Liu Ruyan was totally out of it, basically rambling without any logic like he was sleepwalking. The vibe was incredibly tense, and after 1.5 hours, the finance college lost by a huge margin. The crowd went wild because the reigning champions had never been crushed like this. Yuebai won, but there was zero joy. The victory he had worked so hard to prepare for just felt empty, landing right at his feet without any effort. As soon as the results were read, he was the first to grab his bag and bolt from the room. But Liu Ruyan chased after him, calling out his online name. Yuebai stopped, took a deep breath, and introduced his real self. He coldly told Liu Ruyan that his name was Zhang Yuebai. Liu Ruyan looked at him with watery, helpless eyes. As Yuebai turned to leave, Liu Ruyan grabbed his arm, drawing shocked stares. He asked if the relationship was a lie. Yuebai snapped back, asking why Liu Ruyan pretended not to know his identity this whole time. Liu Ruyan frantically denied it. He admitted he only found out later, but was too scared to tell the truth since Yuebai clearly disliked him. To be fair, Yuebai had talked a lot of trash about him over the phone, so his fear made complete sense.
But even if his lie was understandable, Yuebai could not accept being used as a rebound for some dead ex-boyfriend. Especially since that guy was his absolute first love. Liu Ruyan begged to know what he did wrong, but got only silence. Yuebai coldly replied that he was just bored of the game, leaving Liu Ruyan alone as he walked away. He just could not admit that he was deeply jealous of a dead man. Later that night, the team held a celebration. Yuebai was already downing beers when Liu Guo arrived late. The team was hyped, teasing him about his crazy performance. They asked how he managed to hook up with their top rival, but Yuebai insisted there was nothing between them. They joked that he used a honeypot strategy, laughing off the tension, until Liu Guo brought up some shocking news. Apparently, Liu Ruyan got into a massive brawl and was now in the school clinic, which completely startled Yuebai. His frustrated teammates had started mocking him after the loss, and one of them actually punched him. Hearing this, Yuebai bolted. He ran all the way to the clinic, finding Liu Ruyan getting bandaged next to the bruised guy he fought. They sat in awkward silence. Liu Ruyan had cuts on his face, his hand wrapped like a mummy, looking incredibly lonely. Yuebai watched him for a long moment, slowly catching his breath, before quietly calling out his online name, Fujie. Liu Ruyan froze and looked up in utter shock. Seeing his bruised face, Yuebai felt a sudden pang of sadness. Liu Ruyan softly mumbled that it was not his fault, and the other student actually admitted she started the fight. Yuebai walked over, watching the doctor bandage his hand, gently asking if it hurt. This transition is honestly so beautiful. He says just seeing Zhang Yuebai makes the pain go away. Honestly, the girl next to them gets so fed up with the secondhand flirting she just walks out, and the doctor follows right after. The doctor makes an excuse to check on another patient, leaving the room dead silent. Now it is just Zhang Yuebai and Liu Ruyan alone, with only the sound of their breathing filling the space.
After a quiet moment, Liu Ruyan asks him, "Wait, didn't you say you were totally sick of this and wanted to end things? So why did you actually show up here?"
Zhang Yuebai sighs and sits down, muttering that he just did not want to be a substitute for someone else. Liu Ruyan looks completely blank at the word substitute, having absolutely no clue. Zhang Yuebai smirks and says he knows everything, how everyone says Liu Ruyan is obsessed with a dead ex-boyfriend named Xiao Hu. Liu Ruyan just stares at him in absolute shock. When the realization finally clicks, his eyes go wide as he stammers out, "Wait, are you actually jealous of him?" Honestly, it is pretty embarrassing, but it is the truth, so Zhang Yuebai just looks away stubbornly, unable to deny it. Liu Ruyan suddenly grabs his hand and says he does not care about any ex. Instead, he offers to take Zhang Yuebai to see this mysterious Xiao Hu right now. Zhang Yuebai prepares himself for the absolute worst, but instead of a grave, Liu Ruyan hands him a medical diagnosis sheet. At the very end of the page, there is one shocking diagnosis. Delusional disorder. Talk about a plot twist that changes everything. It hits Zhang Yuebai like a lightning bolt, and suddenly all of Liu Ruyan's weird past behavior finally makes complete sense. Zhang Yuebai looks up in sheer disbelief. Liu Ruyan quietly explains that at first he had absolutely no idea his mind was playing tricks on him. That is, until his dad realized Xiao Hu was not real and forced him into therapy. After heavy medication, the imaginary Xiao Hu finally faded away. That was when he realized the boy in his memories never even had a face. For 3 years, his mind was clear. But then, one random September night arrived. He dreamed of Xiao Hua again, who gave him a phone number. He woke up and realized the number only had 10 digits, but he still tried calling every single combination. Everyone called him a complete psycho and hung up, except for Zhang Yuebai. Even though Zhang Yuebai was annoyed, he stayed on the line, making Liu Ruyan believe he finally found his Xiao Hu. Hearing this, Zhang Yuebai bursts into tears as all his jealousy and hurt melt away. He realizes he was literally jealous of a tragic, lonely mental illness this whole time. He used to think Liu Ruyan was just acting dramatic when complaining about being lonely, but now he knows the sheer, unimaginable pain his partner actually went through. Choking back tears, Zhang Yuebai asks if he is finally cured now. Liu Ruyan looks down with teary eyes and gently nods.
Because this time, Zhang Yuebai is a real, breathing person, and having him means he will never be sick again. Soon enough, news of their relationship spreads like wildfire. The entire campus goes wild, and the salty players from the Finance Academy even confront Zhang Yuebai directly. They accuse him of playing dirty to win by stealing their star player? Honestly, that is such a massive stretch, but he can't exactly explain Liu Ruyan's mental health to them. Luckily, it is a double elimination tournament, so the other team gets another shot. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan locks in, completely folds the competition, and easily secures third place for them. Afterward, he drags Zhang Yuebai out for a massive feast, bragging the entire way about how he absolutely destroyed the other team. Honestly, his energy is unmatched. Honestly, Zhang Yuebai still struggled to connect the wealthy Fujie online with this actual guy in front of him, but seeing him talk nonstop like this, the two personalities finally merge.
Fujie is officially real. Liu Ruyan notices him staring and asks what is wrong, but Zhang Yuebai just shrugs it off.
When Liu Ruyan playfully teases him to take a closer look, he leans right in until they are practically face to face. Up close, his features are insanely gorgeous.
Zhang Yuebai freezes up as his heart starts pounding. Liu Ruyan's gaze slowly drops down to his lips, his throat bobbing slightly before he leans in for a soft, slow kiss.
Alright, now let's jump into Liu Ruyan's point of view to see how this wild ride actually started. At first, he just looked at that weird 10-digit phone number in his notes. He laughed at himself, thinking he was just losing his mind again. But 2 sleepless nights later, he found himself staring at those same 10 digits. On a sudden whim, he sits up in bed and decides to actually try dialing. Unsurprisingly, his first few attempts just get him screamed at by angry strangers. He is just about to give up entirely on this crazy idea when a tired-sounding guy finally picks up, sounding like he just woke up from a deep sleep. The sleepy voice asks who is calling. Liu Ruyan tentatively says, "Xiao Hu? Long time no see." Naturally, the guy on the other end is completely baffled. The guy says he is Xiao Zhang and tells him he has the wrong number, but Liu Ruyan keeps insisting, which just makes the sleep-deprived guy absolutely lose his temper. After getting cursed at and hung up on, Liu Ruyan desperately wants to keep him on the line. But what does he actually have to offer? Right, he's filthy rich. He tells him it does not matter who he is. He will pay him 100,000 yuan just to listen. The guy instantly changes his tune the second the transaction clears. He instantly becomes Xiao Hu and tells him to go ahead. At first, Liu Ruyan just wanted someone to vent to, but slowly things begin to change. He gets completely hooked on hearing this guy call him Fuji. The guy has a great voice, actually listens, and is honestly just incredibly comforting to talk to. Talking to him becomes the best part of his day. He starts wanting to know more about this stranger, until the guy mentions a crazy incident that happened at school. Wait, why does this story sound so familiar? Trying to act casual, Liu Ruyan asks for the name of this annoying guy he is dealing with. The answer? Liu Ruyan. He is absolutely stunned to realize his online friend is someone from real life. He tries to remember the guy who bumped into him earlier, but his memory is completely blank. Not wanting to mix his online safe space with real-world drama, he wraps up the call as fast as possible. He decides to cut off contact and go silent for 2 whole days, but in real life, he suddenly cannot stop looking out for this Zhang Yuebai guy. On the day of the preliminary matches, he spots Zhang Yuebai running into the venue totally rushed and covered in light sweat. And that is the exact moment the faceless Xiao Hu in his mind suddenly gets a face. That night he lies awake thinking about it. It all clicks together. His imaginary Xiao Hua was always tied to the old poem, and Zhang Yuebai's name matches it flawlessly. Wait, is Xingque Yuebai actually Gushi Yue? Are they literally the same person? No shot! This is wild! Talk about fate being real? Zhang Yuebai immediately calls him up to fix their bond, carefully guiding him closer so he will have a great impression of the real-life Liu Ruyan. And it totally works. After meeting in person, Xiao Hu actually warms up to him, and he is thrilled his friend is finally not afraid of him. He decides to meet up officially after the tournament, constantly hyped to see his reaction. In the days leading up to the competition, he calls him every single day, like it is as essential as breathing. He is getting low-key addicted to him. He opens up completely, wanting him to know everything about him. But then, Xiao Hu starts acting distracted, dropping subtle hints that he immediately notices.
It makes him super worried, but Xiao Hu refuses to tell him what is wrong. Helplessly, he figures something must be bothering him in real life. Not knowing how to cheer him up, he clumsily transfers him some cash, since Xiao Hu loves money.
Hoping to cheer him up. But before the finals, Xiao Hu suddenly tells him to stop calling.
He claims he got a girlfriend and wants to avoid misunderstandings. His world completely shatters. How could his man get stolen right under his nose? Is this some joke? Desperate, he starts rambling, saying he does not even care if there is a girlfriend. He almost blurted out that dating 2 people is perfectly fine. But Xiao Hu just hangs up and blocks him. That night, Zhang Yuebai cannot sleep a wink as all his buried dark thoughts come rushing back to swallow him. By the finals, he shows up late in a terrible mood, acting completely miserable. The moment he sees Xiao Hu, he barely resists the urge to demand answers, pretending to ignore him until Xiao Hu snaps and tells him to speak normally. That is when he finally snaps. I cannot. So why do you not teach me, Xiao Hu? Xiao Hu is stunned but quickly recovers, coldly saying to just drop it. He tells him to stop fighting and just play. Talk about brutal. Once the match starts, Zhang Yuebai cannot focus. He is constantly thinking about him, his mind completely shattered into pieces. In the end, they lose the match. As Xiao Hu walks away without looking back, Zhang Yuebai chases after him, completely swallowing his pride to ask what he did wrong. But Xiao Hu does not even glance back, simply saying he is bored. He watches him walk away, spiraling into total self-doubt. He feels like a complete failure who cannot hold on to anything, standing there like a ghost for hours. Because of the loss? His teammates are absolutely furious, but he is too numb to care. Suddenly, a random punch lands right on his face. That snaps him out of it. He fights back and both of them end up in hospital. Once they cool down, the guy actually apologizes, but he just ignores him, drowning in self-loathing. He thinks back to their first chat and swinging under the snowy mountain. Suddenly, someone calls out, "Liu Ruyan!" He looks up, and it actually is him. Zhang Yuebai had no idea that the night he held Liu Ruyan in his arms was the first time Liu Ruyan was ever hugged. A lonely soul finally found the moon to hold him tight.